Okay, guys, here we are at the start of apparently a long weekend. Let's I'll say I'll say hi. Oh, look at that, the perfect timing there, the thumbs up right next to my head. I'm going to switch over right away and get on to our review. Hope everyone's doing well. I see we've got a lot of heroes. Everyone's checked in for the most part on Remind. I'm just missing a couple, but I'm sure we can get that worked out quickly. All right. So how things are going to go today is we're going to do a little bit of revision on 2.3 and 2.4. I'm going to keep it really quick. And then I'm going to talk about the schedule for next week and how we're going to conduct this HR exam, which will be opening, I'll give you a little hint, at the very end of next week. And I'll explain to you how that's going to work and the timing. So leadership and management, let's take a look here. And I'm just going to go through the text. I'm working up better content for the marketing unit, but since we're just in revision here, I thought just highlighting some of these critical areas would probably be the most effective. Okay, so for leadership and management, the main things you have to understand are the different leadership styles: autocratic, paternalistic, democratic, laissez-faire, and situational, and of course, pros and cons for each of those. So again, at the bare minimum, you want one pro and one con for each of these different leadership styles, so you can defend your answer in a question or get full marks for a simple identifier define sort of question. Okay, let's get this straightened out here. Okay, so this is one that I've seen on multiple IB exams, which is understanding the key functions of management, and it basically can come down to just two things. So we only have to remember two here, which is planning and organizing. So it says managers must plan, set strategic objectives, tactical objectives. This is basically just setting up the order of business for that business organization, and then organizing, making sure there's sufficient resources to achieve its objectives, sufficient HR, recruitment, sufficient advertising, sufficient materials, sufficient building, sufficient everything. So planning and organizing, key functions of management. Those are the primary ones. So if you can understand and let's remember the planning and organizing, that's probably the most important. Commanding, is kind of like, to me, it's kind of like organizing as well, organizing people. And same with coordinating and controlling. It's really just kind of all sub functions of planning and organizing. All right. So the other one they would hit you up with, maybe like on a 4-point question, where you're going to have to define and give some examples, is management versus leadership. So, we've just said it's planning and organizing, but there's also that leadership function in it as well. So the leadership aspect comes down to these things, which is motivation. Also, a leader is going to rely on their instincts sometimes. You get that gut feeling. You're going to have vision. You're going to know where you're going to take the company and why you're going to take it there. Even though a lot of other people don't understand. If you take a look at a guy like Elon Musk, there's someone with arguably a lot of vision, right? Like, he's trying to get that rocket ship to Mars. I don't know if you've seen this thing, and they're literally building it in a tent in Boca Chica, Texas. It's called the Starship, and they're building it out of stainless steel in one of the most unconventional ways that you would put together a rocket, not in a super clean room with high tech welders, but he is trying to look at a whole new thing. That's vision. And it says often have the vision that the organization should be doing things in a totally different way. So there's the same thing with Musk. So know these things: the motivate, inspire, vision. How about motivate, inspire, and vision, and instinct? Let's call it hunches. So I got a hunch that I'm going to motivate and inspire people with my vision. There's a good way to remember that. All right, so let's get down to these leadership styles here. Some of these are pretty darn straightforward. I mean, autocratic. Miss Hunter went. I think you guys did a project where you had to define, some examples of autocratic leadership and democratic leadership. All right, so let's take a look at some of the pros and cons here. Unsuccessful employers have the opposite characteristics of those described. Style leadership is mostly used when subordinates are unskilled and not trusted. Okay, you got that, unskilled and not trusted. You're probably not being an autocrat if you're running a hospital. It says many in the military rely on autocratic style. Yeah, because you know what? It's quick. It gets the job done fast. The military is very autocratic. A benefit is what lines of authority are clear and decisions made quickly. Yeah, you're going to make a decision very quickly because no one's arguing about it. Whatever the leader says goes. The major negative is employees tend not to develop the ability to manage on their own. So you don't have any sustainability or continuity. When someone else has to step up, they have no idea what to do. You have to train people to be managers. You don't, and leaders. They don't naturally become one. I mean, maybe that rare occasion, but my experience in the Air Force was, they have a 21-year-old, 22-year-old flying a $34 million jet. They got to trust that person and develop them so they can become the flight leader or the aircraft commander later on. And, if you don't have that trust, then when someone has to step into that role, let's say in an emergency, they're not going to be successful. Okay, next one, paternalistic. Paternalistic means Latin for father. Paternalistic leaders are often like parents. They provide employees with a sense of safety. As a result, it says employers believe that no matter what, the business will stand by them. The employees believe that. That's a good thing, especially in times like now. They often get total loyalty, even blind trust from their employees. It says if employees like the style of leadership, they'll probably remain at the business for a long time. So, that is a positive. So they take great pride in the organization. A lot of times you're going to see this with coaches. The players relate to that coach. There's that paternalistic feeling the coach is going to take care of the players. It says, however, paternalistic leaders place a great deal of importance on loyalty, which may mean that they don't have a fully objective critical eye when evaluating employees' performance. So they value the people that are more loyal as opposed to the people that are competent. And that can be a real issue, as you can imagine. Coronavirus, managing it. United States. Democratic. It involves employee decision-making, informs them about issues that affect them. Democratic leadership can occur across the spectrum. I would say basically the setup that we have in terms of our school and like department heads and the way Mr. Como runs things, he asks for a lot of input. And, so he'll give us, he'll pose a question or propose something that they want to do or he wants to do or wants to move forward with at a department meeting. We take it to our departments, discuss it, bring it back to a department meeting. Then we have a full staff meeting and we vote and decide and have some debate. And sometimes it's not always just a straight out vote, but we do have that debate. It takes a long time to make these kinds of decisions. But when the decision's done with, everyone feels more part of the decision and there's more buy-in, which is really important. You don't have buy-in for decisions made. You don't have an effective organization, laissez-faire, leave alone. Leadership style, the manager gives employees considerable freedom in how they do their work. Yeah, so it says management style may be appropriate when employees can be trusted to do their job because they're motivated, skilled, and educated. Universities tend to be laissez-faire. Yeah, I mean, you got some extremely competent professors, sometimes world famous in their field. If you're running the university, you just let those people do what they're doing. You don't even involve a lot of democratic discussion because you just let them manage their own affairs. And you see that a lot also in some tech businesses where you have highly skilled, programmers and computer scientists and scientists to let them do their thing. I think Steve Jobs said, I hire the best people. I hire them because I want them to go work on their own. I want them to develop things, even though Jobs is somewhat considered an autocratic leader. And situational is just you adapt to whatever the situation is. So if we have this emergency situation like we have now, you will maybe move into an autocratic style. But when we're not in such a dire situation, we can pull back into more democratic or laissez-faire. That's what situational is. Sometimes it confuses your people that are working for you, though. Yeah. So the good part is you're very flexible. The bad part is some people you're not consistent. Consistency is really important in leadership. It says ethical considerations and cultural differences. I think we can pretty much agree that having sensitivity and understanding, and not saying sensitivity just for the sake of being sensitive. If you want to just be practical, is you're basically having a better management for the business when everyone again feels respected and valued. So there's that idea that you can have a win-win. It can be good for the business and good for the employees and good for you all at the same time. All right. Just some things here on cultural differences. I just want you to understand, this term here called power distance. So power distance is how far away an individual in an organization is from a point of power or a point of decision making. So sometimes in some cultures, it's kind of normal to not challenge authority. In other cultures, it is normal to challenge authority. So those are some things that need to be considered. There's a revision checklist, and that's a good revision for the leadership unit. Okay, let's sneak over and take a real quick look at 2.4 here, which is motivation. The motivation unit is another one that's pretty meaty. Let's see. Trying to find our chapter here. Oh, here we go. All right, so here's the thing is Paul Hong's textbook adds several more people to this list. This is enough. Taylor, Maslow, Hertzberg, Adams, and Pink. And if you wanted to trim this down to the bare minimum, Taylor, Maslow, Pink. Taylor, show me the money. Maslow, climb the mountain. Pink, be all that you can be. There's the explanation for those three. Hertzberg is motivation hygiene theory, means that there's certain things that have to be in place or you can't motivate people. So if I'm not being paid enough to live on, or I have unsafe working conditions, you can't really motivate me with more pay all the time because the safety factors aren't there. So he's saying is that you can't even begin to deal with motivation until you take care of the basic needs of those employees in terms of compensation, work environment, security, those types of issues. Adams, and you probably have been through this one because you're a student and you get marks back, that you get you expect a certain mark on a paper and you don't get it, you're extremely disappointed, right? So if you don't expect that great mark, I didn't do very well, and you get the paper back, and guess what? You didn't do very well. You're kind of okay. You kind of understand that. But if you're someone who's working very hard and you're not getting recognized, or you're not getting what you expect to get based on, again, salary, working conditions, security, you're going to be highly unmotivated. So that is the basics for those 5 people, and they're all guys. So I know Pink is a woman, but that's another Pink. All right, this is Pink from Harvard, and Pink is basically there's all sorts of things that people are looking for in life that go way beyond just salary and I guess beyond salary and job security and working conditions. You want to be recognized. You want to feel like you're important. You want to feel like you're making a contribution. You want to be challenged, all those types of issues as well. Okay. This is a good one here to understand. And I think we can kind of wrap this up quicker than I thought. Intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. So intrinsic is within you, and extrinsic is outside of you. So if I get to pay you more money, that's an extrinsic motivator. If I tell you that I'm going to give you a leadership position to expand the type of work you're doing here and give you some people to manage because I've been watching you and you're fantastic at what you do, and I think you need to share this with other people. That's an intrinsic motivator that I want to be recognized, and I want to be thought of as a valuable team member, and I want to have a challenge when I go to work, and I don't want this to be the same old drudgery every single day, and I want to feel like I can work here for a long time. Those are all intrinsic motivators. The extrinsic stuff is new office, better food at the cafeteria, if there is a cafeteria, more pay, retirement package, those sorts of things. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I think we've been through this, I know, with Miss Hunter several times. So we got your basic needs, safety needs, love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. The whole point of Maslow is you can't have a higher one without a lower one. So I can't come up to someone who's has no shelter and is very hungry and try to motivate them with giving them some sort of aspect of what they're doing is very moral and creative. So that won't cut it until they have the food, warmth, and shelter. Then we move up to safety needs, security of body, employment resources, those types of things. I mean, basically, I think for safety is the two things that come to mind for me is you got secure position at your work, and you have a safe, you have safety in terms of your job, and you have health care and things like that. Then we have love and belonging and esteem and self-actualization. You can't have a higher one without a lower one. It'd be like trying to build the top of the pyramid first. Just think of that. That wouldn't work. All right. I just went over Hertzberg with the hygiene and motivators. Adams. If you put something into the job and you don't get what you get out of the job, you're going to be highly unmotivated. Like I said, if you don't put much into studying for exam, you don't do well. Well, there you go. But think about it. You work really hard, you study, and you get a poor mark for whatever reason, you're not too motivated because you had that expectation. You know what? I think this is a good one here. They may ask you about some things like financial rewards, like salary is paid same amount every single month. Wages are usually paid on an hourly basis, but they can be paid on a piece rate basis. Remember, that's Taylor. Taylor is real straightforward. You should pay people by how hard they work. He thought everyone should work hard. He was a bit of a nut, though. Okay, he did all these time motion studies, and he basically did the work of the managers back in the turn of the century and beyond, a little beyond, where, he would take people. I mean, they honestly would, supervisors would walk the shop floor at places like Ford and General Motors back in the day, and they'd have this little leather pouch full of lead shot, and they would pull a worker off and beat them right there if they weren't working hard enough. Taylor said, we don't have to do that. We can pay them more and they will work harder. The only problem with Taylor is that he got people to work harder, then the owners of the business didn't pay him more. He was very disillusioned in the end because he was a huge promoter of that. Okay, so these things here, let's just quickly, wages, commission. Commission is what you get paid in addition to your salary. So usually your salary is a little bit lower. This is mostly salespeople. If you're in real estate, sometimes it's 100% commission. Other times it's 50% commission. Usually commission jobs are used to motivate people to sell, generally bigger ticket items because they get a percentage of that. Profit related pay, depending on the business you work for, you may be included in what's called profit sharing, where you get a share of what the business's profits are to motivate you more. And usually that's at higher levels of a company. There's performance rated pay. These like bonuses. Think of baseball players. We're going to pick on we're just going to say baseball players because I watched some videos with these baseball players describing how their contracts are made. And there's all this performance related pay. So if you win the home run derby, if you get certain batting average, if you get certain number of runs, if you strike out a certain number of batters, if you win a certain award, same in hockey, football, basketball, soccer, performance related pay, but it also happens in other businesses as well. Employee share ownership schemes where the employees are part owners of the business. Sometimes when a business is trying to negotiate a contract with a union, they'll say, we're going to have the employees be part of the company now in terms of the management, and we're going to have one of them sit on the board of directors, and we're going to share profits with the employees. A lot of times in smaller businesses, they'll offer a good employee, do you want to buy into the business, become part of it, become partner? And then these are really big ones here. These are fringe payments, and this is all the bonuses that you get. Bonuses, everything from your health care to like at Google, there's the cafeteria, there's the laundry service, there's the pet sitting service, there's all these things that you really can't put a dollar figure on, but they're worth money to you. I guess they're worth they motivate you. At my son's business, they have a barista and they have a tap with some craft beverages that are available and open after like 4:00 in the afternoon. But they said the barista is really good. They got like a full, like Abbey Grind type bar set up with all the coffee drinks. Here's some non-financial rewards. So these were all financial rewards. The non-financial rewards: job enrichment. We're going to make your job more meaningful, more full. Job rotation. Oh, you don't have to do the same job all the time. You can be rotated from this job to this job to this job. It's used with younger employees, it says, as a form of training. But you're not doing the same old thing every day. That's a big motivator. Job enlargement. Oh, we're going to give you more responsibility. You're going to be, these are all somewhat related to intrinsic motivation. And then empowerment. You're going to give individuals access to resources and information to do their jobs and make decisions. Oh, here's your purchasing card. You can go buy what you need for your department or your division. You don't have to ask permission for it every time. Or You can go to the supply cabinet and get pencils and pens and erasers anytime you want. You have access to the supply cabinet now. That's a very small form of empowerment. Hey, you know what? You can take as much time off as you want. Just make sure you get your job done. Those types of things. You can set your own schedule. Yeah, those are the big ones. So let's just go with empowerment, job enlargement, job enrichment. And that's it. Okay, so there's our revision for 2.3, 2.4. So here's what the plan is. The plan is I'm going to open this exam up like next Thursday, and it's going to be open for a week. So there will be a terms, a knowledge, and then an essay. And they'll all be done on Moodle. Obviously, they're all open book. Obviously, they'll all be timed, so you don't have like infinite amount of time to sit and answer the questions. I want you to be up on the stuff enough where you can answer them quickly and efficiently. Be the same sort of thing where you're going to have 2 or 3 questions and you get to choose 1 or 2 of them. I haven't decided if it's going to be 1 or 2, maybe just 1. And that'll finish us up for HR. I'll do more revision next week because we have a long weekend. I know it's been a long weekend since like spring break. So, but anyway, this is a holiday this weekend. So so basically, I will be back, and I will send you a reminder. I'll be back on the live stream on Tuesday, if it's warranted, Wednesday, and then on Thursday, I will arrange some sort of class meeting online. So I will send you a schedule over Remind, and I'll post a schedule on our website. There's another couple of Kahoots coming up. Those are a good way to practice. And then the meet will be able to discuss, give you some examples of questions, and you can ask questions. And then once I turn on the test, I'm gonna probably just let you work on it for, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And we'll be back on it on Wednesday. When we get back to the marketing unit, my plan is to live stream on probably Monday, Wednesday, and have available some sort of meet on Thursday if needed. Like, I will be here, join if you like, not required if there's things you need to discuss. And I'm generally looking at trying to get, at least like a unit. When I say a unit, like it's going to be unit 4 coming up. So 4.1, 4.2. So some sort of terms, obviously terms and knowledge, and then some sort of small assignment. And we may even do it in groups, and we'll pick one of those Thursdays in for presentations sometimes, but generally everything you're going to turn your stuff in. So I'll always text you ahead of time, let you know that the live stream's coming up. I'm going to continue to do them at 10 o'clock. The meeting that we'll have, though, will be in the afternoon, because I think more people can participate in case you're sleeping in. Apparently teenagers sleep in till like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So hopefully the 1 o'clock works. Other than that, if you don't have any questions, comments, then you guys have a good weekend as best you can under the circumstances. And we will be back on Tuesday with 2.5 and 2.6, which finishes up HR. Then we can discuss the exam on Thursday, and on Wednesday I may stream on Wednesday to give you some example questions, some example like essay questions. Like I said, during the exam we won't be meeting. You'll just be given time to work in the exam, and that will be, again, starting next week. So starting on Thursday, but we'll still meet. And after we get done with the meeting, I'll open the exam up. So you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, and then we'll reconvene on Thursday. That may be the best plan. I will send you a schedule as to how this looks, and I'll update Moodle so it has like a weekly format so you can see what we're doing on each week. Got another Kahoot I'm sending you today, and there'll be a couple more Kahoots coming your way on Remind. Listen, any questions, please hit me back. Probably on Remind's the best way to get a hold of me right now, quickly. I'll respond fairly quickly. I don't look at my email on the weekend, school email, so Remind's probably the better way. I'll never try to communicate with you guys until after 3:00. We're pretty much not in school at that point. So I hold back and we'll keep school time for school time and not in school time for not in school time, because I know you guys have demands in their classes. All right, listen, that's it. So I'll say goodbye. I'll wave goodbye. Let me I think I got my camera on. Oh, there I am. Okay. All right. So we'll see you guys next week over the interwebs, and have a good one. All right. Bye.